Hey everyone, and welcome to the channel. So in front of us is a 2022 Ford Bronco Badlands with the Sasquatch package. This model is finished off in Area 51. They have a starting MSRP right around $45,000. We're going to start off today's review with what powers this Bronco, because there are two different engine options that you can get just based on your preference and what you're looking to get. So underneath the hood, this has the 2.7 liter EcoBoost V6 paired to a 10-speed automatic transmission. Now you can get the Bronco with a manual if you go with the 2.3 liter. This engine here pumps out around 310 horsepower, 400 pound-feet of torque. Weighs in right around 5,300 pounds. It'll do 0 to 60 around 6 seconds, top speed of 132, and its fuel capacity is almost 21 gallons. You'll see right around 18 miles per gallon in the city, 20 out on the highway. Not all that bad considering we have the 35-inch tires. But for the exterior, for this retro modern design SUV, you'll see Bronco nicely spelled out right across the grille. On all of the models, that is finished off in white. This one also has the forward-facing camera, so if you're taking this off-road, gives you a lot more visibility, along with having the full LED package, so LED headlights, LED DRLs, very nicely incorporated into the grille, so it goes from side to side. There's a little bit of space underneath the grille. We have the steel bumper along with all the parking sensors. There's some grille shutters right in the middle, the tow hooks as well. And this is a beast off-road. We have a very high approach angle, Bilstein suspension, skid plates up underneath. This is so capable in the stock configuration. We were able to take the Bronco off-road, and it is a blast. It is the coolest SUV where you don't have to do anything to take this off the pavement. It is set up and ready to go. The hood has nice bulges. There's even these accessory mounts which connect to the top of the windshield there. You can run cables if you want to. The theory with that is if you're going off-road and you have branches, they'll hit those cables and deflect away from the paint. Really cool to see that actually comes as a factory option basically. Now for the Sasquatch package, massive 35-inch tires with a 17-inch wheel, two-tone design, beadlock ready. This has the high clearance fender flares too, which stick out a good bit, covers that tire nicely just to match that combo. Now this has steel rock sliders too. When you're taking this off-road, very, very beneficial and a must to have. So you keep the underside of this very well protected. Now the side mirrors here have a spotlight. They also have a camera, and the side mirrors are not mounted to the door like pretty much every other vehicle. They are mounted to essentially the base of the hood there, because you can take these doors off. So that is nice that it actually gives you a little bit lighter of a door not having that mirror, and it makes it easier to store the doors as well. You don't have that bulky mirror on them. Now you can get two different roof options. This has the hard top, which I am a fan of. I think it looks really good, although it is a little bit easier to take the soft top down. So just personal preference basically. For the rear, full-size spare with the camera right in the middle, LED taillights, steel bumper with all the parking sensors. The Broncos, no matter which engine you go with, can tow right around 3,500 pounds. Really, that's kind of just a wheelbase issue, especially with the suspension on how much it can actually handle. So you're right around 3,500 pounds. Now for the rear cargo, we can swing this tailgate basically open. Has the strut there, very easy to open with that full-size spare. From there, manually open up the rest of the glass. You have an ample amount of room for an SUV. Back seats do fold down. There's a little bit of a step here, but you can still put in a lot of items. Underneath the floor is a little bit of space. You could use this as a cooler if you wanted to with that drain plug. There's the jacks and other items for changing a spare, along with some tie-down hooks, which also have the Bronco logo there, or I should say a lasso. Pretty interesting to see. There's a 12-volt dome lights, even a speaker, and the roll cage is body colored. Nice to see that. It's very easy to close this up the rest of the way. And then the Bronco has remote start. So locking it and double tapping this button, fires right up. Very easy to use that. You can shut it off just by double tapping that button again. Now I do wish you could lock and unlock this from the back door handles, but you can't. Not really a huge deal. The door panel has a nice gray finish to it, some more gray on the grab handle there. There's even a little bit of storage space in the lower section, and that's all you get. You also have where it says lift, so there is a handle here. When you remove the door, makes it a lot easier to carry, of course. Now this model also has the black leather seats with all of the orange stitching, and just by grabbing on this, you can fold this down. You do have to have the headrest folded in order for it to go all the way down. So as you can tell, you have a good amount of space for this SUV. And at 5'10", it's pretty easy to hop into. It's not a high truck. 35s definitely make it a little bit higher, but you get a grab handle, which is nice to have. Plenty of space. There's a net. There's even this kind of mesh style grate here where you can add some accessories, any small mounts that you need, any tools that you want to place. Pretty cool to have that. Now the window controls are in the middle. There's a 12 volt and some USBs. And then right in the middle is a pretty small armrest, but it still has cup holders. So it's cool to see that function. And then plenty of visibility. There's a lot of glass for this SUV, so it's very easy to see. Now for the front doors, the only addition is lock and unlock and a little bit of storage, a little bit larger storage. There's also a grab handle too. And then there's a grab handle for the front seat passengers. It's on each side, so it's not in the traditional pillar there, but even with it, it actually makes it pretty easy to get into this. So let's fire the Bronco back up. What I think is pretty cool is that the engine start stop button is essentially the headlight with a DRL. Just like you saw up front. It'd be cool to see that illuminate going all the way across to match that even better. But with it fired up, we get a LCD digital screen with the analog speedometer on that left side along with the engine temperature. And you can go through a good bit of info using these dials over on this right side. So right now it's on a configure view, so you can basically set it up the way that you'd like to. You can monitor turbo boost, look at gauges, all of that information. There's even the tire pressure. In an off-road page here, you have pitch and roll along with the degrees for the steering wheel. You can look up trip information, look at your fuel economy. Really not all that important for an SUV like this, but you can monitor that. You can also look at a calm screen where now you can see fuel gauge, miles per hour, and the tach. That's pretty much it for that screen, but it's everything that you need. You have tuning. You can also go through your Bluetooth and voice commands. Over on this side is all the cruise control settings, distance pacing, lane keeping assist, and the volume adjustments. Now on this side, you'll see all the headlight adjustments along with dimmer switches, spotlights for the side cameras or the side view mirrors. There's also the e-brake. We have the Bang & Olufsen sound system. You could use this for a little bit of storage if you wanted to, so it's nice to see that. There's even another auxiliary. And then we have some fun buttons. We have the sway bar disconnect, lockers, trail turn assist, traction control, and the hazards. So it's nice to have all of those along with this massive screen where you can go through pretty much everything that you need, including the navigation. You have different apps to go into, different settings, and then even features like the zone lighting. So that turns on all of the exterior lights. If you're using this at nighttime, you can have pretty much the sun with you at all times. Now over on this right side, as you've seen, this is a split screen, which you can minimize this, but it's nice that you can go through all this information and still have info on that left side. So you can have navigation on one side while you're looking at your pitch and roll if you're taking this off-road. So it's cool to have that. Now underneath that, we can quickly pull up the forward-facing camera along with the top-down view. Like I mentioned earlier, if you're taking this off-road, you have all of this visibility, which is very, very helpful to have. There's volume and power for the radio, tuning, a few other adjustments for that. This even has the engine start stop feature along with the parking sensors, and all of the climates are nicely laid out. This has a dual zone system, heated seats, heated steering wheel, fan speed in the middle, and all of the other controls for that. Now underneath that, there's the wireless charging port along with some auxiliaries, so you can have cables running to it if you need to. There's a Ford logo on that right side along with two cup holders. And then for the leather shifter, if I pop it into reverse, you'll see the backup camera with the same guidelines or same angles as the front, I should say, which is pretty cool to have. There's also a top-down view, so if you're backing up to a trailer or just backing up in general, gives you another angle, which is nice. Now you can shift using the shifter if you'd like to, if you're off-road or towing, makes it nice to have. And behind that, we have the GOAT modes, which means goes over any terrain, along with the four-wheel drive selector and even the trail control, which is basically cruise control for off-road. So by twisting on that dial, you will also see the trail control, which is also the one pedal driving, which is pretty neat. But there are a lot of driving modes just depending on what you're doing with this and the mode that you need. Basically, it's going to modulate where you need power to be sent. And you can see the graphic change too, just depending on that mode. So it's pretty neat to have that. Now, not every Bronco has all of these modes, so you do have to get a certain package. I believe it's a Sasquatch package to get all 7 of those. Now, right in the middle, all of the window controls, side mirror adjustments. There's a little bit of storage right in the middle, so you can place all of your items there, along with the glove box which has a good amount of room. Bronco is also in the airbag cover, which is nice to see. And from the driver's seat, plenty of visibility. We have some insulation on this hardtop as well, just to make it a little bit quieter, along with all of the points to remove the roof. So you do have to remove the front 2 panels first before you can remove the entire back one. And then this also has the cargo one as well. So you can't actually fit from here back in this Bronco when you take it with you. You can only bring the front 2 with you. And then this also has some factory switches up top, so you could mount exterior lighting compressors to these switches. Pretty cool to have that factory location. Dome lights are just in front of that, of course. But let's go ahead and get this out on the road. So we'll do a slight acceleration in the Bronco. This is the larger of the engine options, like I mentioned earlier. And even coming around a turn, sounds pretty good as well. Now you can get the all-new Bronco Raptor, which has the V8 engine, and I've been seeing some conflicting 0 to 60s on both of these vehicles. So I mentioned earlier in this video that this 2.7 liter EcoBoost will get to 60 in around 6 seconds. I think it's just over 6 seconds, but the Bronco Raptor R is close to 6 seconds as well. So that has me believing that either the 2.7 liter EcoBoost in this truck is closer to 6.5, maybe 6.7, because there is a smaller 2.3 liter, which I think is in the mid 7s. But for the Bronco Raptor R, I feel like that, just to get off a topic slightly, I feel like that should be less than 5.5 seconds to compete with the Wrangler 392. But aside from that, this still gets up and moves. It's not a slow vehicle. It's not really performance oriented either. But it has some get up and go to it for this engine. So we'll give it a slight acceleration just to get back up to speed. And without even having to think about it, light on the accelerator, we're up to speed. So as performance goes, I would go with the larger option like this if you can't get the Bronco Raptor, which will have the V8. This is probably definitely the engine to go with. I feel like the 2.3 is a little bit underpowered for what it is. But if that's the engine that works with you, great. I feel like the 2.7 is probably the best and the most economical of the three. The 2.3 might be a little bit better, but this is kind of in the middle. And so for the POV angle, you can see what it's like to be behind the wheel. I love the massive screen. It gives you all the tech that you need. And it's super comfortable to drive. I could see getting a Bronco someday. Someday this would be a fun project to work on, to take off-road, to really see how much more capable you can get this SUV, because it's already very capable as it sits. You honestly don't really need to do anything to it aside from whatever accessories you may want to add. I've seen a few Broncos lifted even higher with 6-inch lifts, something of that size, and they look pretty sweet. Definitely would be a lot more capable with a little bit extra height. But I think that's going to wrap it up for this walk-around review and test drive for the 2022 Ford Bronco Badlands with the Sasquatch package. And if you enjoyed today's video, give it a huge thumbs up. Consider smashing that subscribe button so you don't miss out on our daily uploads. Handling is also pretty good for normal speeds here. And I will see you all in the next video.